All right, what is going on, everyone? Welcome to Go Clinic. Today, very excitingly, I will talk about my own game. So it is a game that I played on IGS Go server um, very recently. Finally got the time to play a somewhat serious game on the IGS Go server. And thankfully, I'm not playing against an AI software this time. Um, because recently I've been playing a lot of players using AI, which is kind of annoying. But this time I got a game with a human 100%, so it is a 610. I don't know him personally, so let's take a look at the game. So I am playing as white in this game. So my opponent was 60, so obviously I was playing very, very seriously. And we start with a very normal opening, and my opponent goes with the 2 space jump. And I approach from the inside, right, with the goal to destroy any potential moyo that black has. Black decides to pincer, but here black can also go ahead and just play out something that I have covered in Joseki lectures. This is totally valid play. Instead, my opponent pincers. That is also fine, and we'll cover those in future Joseki lectures. Okay, and I decide to take the territory, which is a legit choice. Another possible choice is for me to just be patient and Tanuki locally. That's also very legit. Instead, we play out a Joseki, and I jumped out here. My opponent approaches, perfectly legit move, and an excellent extension at k4, and as we can see, black is building a very, very big moyo, basically on the bottom right. And I decided to directly go in. Maybe this is a problematic move, right? This R4 invasion is what I learned from a pro, and I actually cover that in one of the Learn a Move from Pro series, right, from Hei Jia, and it was the R4 move, and it was at the time was great, but this early in the game probably not. So what AI recommends is more moves like this, right? Be very patient and then look for the opportunity to invade into black's moyo. But instead, I did not have that patience. I just thought I need to immediately destroy black's moyo, and I decided to just go in. Black blocks, and black obviously block from the outside. So before we go, in that video I covered the variation that was actually played was this one, right? So this is what happened in the actual game. White ends with the Kosumi, and it turns out that was an equal game. So this could be a possibility, but black did not choose this one. Instead, he blocks from the outside, and it made a wedge. Right, so maybe a good move is for black to just put more pressure. Here, white will answer like this, and black extends, and white needs to block another time, and then black extends, and white needs to make the corner alive. So this is a slightly better for black, right? Just because I have made a mistake or inaccuracy to invade too early. But none of this is really mistakes, right? It's all inaccuracies. So we reached this point where black decided to connect instead of extending down at S7. I obviously need to go to the corner, and now black made the first mistake of the game, right? So here the correct move is for black to put max pressure onto white. So white needs to block and black connects, and white needs to make a life, basically. Black can get this one, and then white is going to live locally, right? So there's really nothing black can do over here. So the result of this is that black's got a really complete outside, right? And now he's got the Sente. White achieved the goal of disjoin some territory over here, but really the problem persists, right? When black jumps out, this is a huge moyo. That's going to give me a lot of problems. But my opponent did not play that one. He decides to Kosumi at p2, and I don't really understand why. This is obviously a mistake because after white extends, white lives way too comfortably, right? Like white has a bigger corner, and white is just very comfortable, and black has a weird shape over here. Later on, this peep could be a problem. This clamp could be a problem, right? So at this point, I definitely gained a little bit of a lead. Although still very, very playable for black. So the first mistake is to not play p2, right? Like it's obviously to always make sure you're choosing the most active choice and put max pressure on your opponent. There's no way for you to back down at p2. Why not claim what you deserve, right, locally? So that actually turns out to be quite a big mistake in the eyes of AI, and I could feel that mistake in the game as well. So I was very happy with the outcome locally, and AI would agree with me. Okay, black keeps expanding on top. That's a very, very good move. If it does not play, later on I can come into this direction and black's moyo will be gone. So the Keima is nice. And now black still has a big moyo, and I need to think about how to invade. The key here is to not rush, right? If we go in like this is a valid point, but looks a little bit risky, right? Like I don't know exactly how you would deal with this, but since black has a lot of stones, fighting over this region would be very, very difficult for white. So in your games, it's also a very, very good tip is not to rush when your opponent has a big moyo, right? So the computer would suggest you to be very patient and then make a testing move around this area, right? And this is an excellent move because there's no easy way for black to catch white. So a very good reduction move that I would recommend to my viewers. But in the game, I decide to play this g5, which is an okay move, right? It's aiming at coming down at h3. Black defends the h3 weakness with h4. That's great. And then I decide to play another Keima, right? So now, by sacrificing a little bit of the territory here, I achieved expansion of myself as well as reduction towards black's moyo. So I personally liked these two moves. AI just thought was just, comme ci comme ça, it's not really losing any points, but it's not gaining anything significant. It just says you had an idea, and that's okay. That's not the most accurate one, but you know, at least it was an idea. So Black decides to exchange the N17. That's a good follow-up when you have a shape like this. So White does not want to play this one because after pushing Atari, Black fixed all the weaknesses here in Sente. So and pushing out is also possible, but this is similar to what happened in the game. I probably should have played like this, but very, very tiny difference, right? I decide to extend down, which is a move I recommend, right? It's very solid, and out corner is no problem. And later on, there's some weakness that Black has over here. All right, so I mean, till here, I'm pretty happy with my play overall, right? Not a big mistake. There's some inaccuracies such as the early invasion, but I get overcompensated by Black's P2 move, right? So I would say overall in the opening, both players are quite accurate, except this P2 weird Kosumi, which allows me a decent lead in the game right now. So Black decides to approach, and here's the funny thing. I decided to play a trick. So this is the trick, like the most recent trick that I've talked about, right? So the first trick video of this year, 2020, and it is my most recent trick. But I don't know when you're gonna watch this video, so I'm just gonna say it's the video called Already Tricked video. So that's exactly the trick in that video. And guess what? My opponent actually falls for it. So I just very happily push and cut, and then you know, the detailed variations will be found in that video. And which is the reason I really wanted to talk about this game, because there you go, right? It's not just for my viewers. I actually implemented a trick that I talked about in my video. And I mean, if you think about it, if I just talk and cover those tricks and then I never use them myself, that's kind of like that's kind of a hypocrite, right? Like it's you're talking about something and you never use in your game. That kind of, yeah, it's not super cool. All right, so this trick actually worked out in my game. My opponent decides to fight here. All right, so let's first cover what he should have played is just to jump out, right? And then he can go ahead and play wherever he wants to now. He can I don't really know, right? The direction is obviously a big challenge. I don't know, maybe some weird moves like this, but definitely not to fight White locally. But instead, I guess he hasn't watched my video and he's not very familiar with what's going on locally. So here I have a very forcing variation. So I push, that's a Sente, and push once more, that's also a Sente, right? If you do anything else, first of all, I would have the J16 Hane, but let's just be, you know, a bit less complicated about it. Like we can just play out things like this, right? So we got this first, and this is already good. But I mean, if you want just the best variation, Hane at J16, that's very good for us. So Black does not have time to do that, so he needs to go ahead and play J16. That's what he played, and I cut. And now, as we can see, Black's 2 stones, very dangerous situation. Black played the best move, that is the B15, and I follow up with exactly what I covered in video, that is to block at C14. And then the remaining variation goes exactly like how I covered it in the video. And now black made a mistake, right? Like so here, black should first peep. And now if black wants to make a seki, he should probably extend like this. So so now I think white will honey and connect, and when black turns, white will play out this one, right? This is what we covered. This is a seki in the corner. That's probably his best variation. So it gets very tricky, and even a 6'10" does not know what's going on. So instead, in the game, he decides to play the c17. That's probably like a game-losing move, because now I can push. He does not have time to really push because I can kill these group first. So instead, black is forced to basically connect at a b16. After which I just connect myself, and this is already this is pretty much my win rate is probably at 90% here because black is dead, right? So if black goes ahead and squeeze my liberty, this is probably a 9Q problem, right? Like white can throw in. When black take, white can follow up, and this is I kills no I. So that's a simple variation. If black insists on making an I, white can first extend the liberty, right? So this would be a problem. So if black plays out this one, that's not going to work out. And if black connects, white can extend the liberty and then come back and kill the corner. So that means the corner is already dead, right? So, all right, after this point, we covered that the corner is dead. Black decides to make use of the corner, and white descends. And then black played a few good moves. That is to make a group over here by constantly attaching to my stones, which is a great idea, right? And now I played a c10. This is it's an okay move. I don't recommend it. I'd say I could have just played simpler, right? Such as anywhere else, I would say. You know, maybe protecting my corner. That's an easy way to continue. Or I can start doing some reduction over here. I don't really know, which is why I decided to play out the attack, which is a good idea, but I think it's a bit advanced. Black attaches, I honey, and then black honey. After a few good combinations, I decided to go for a complicated variation, that is to play out this one. Black Atari, and now I could have connected, but my stones here are gonna die, right? Like this group is gonna die. I wanted to keep the pressure on black by making sure he's not completely alive, so I extended. Black takes and I take to keep black in a floating situation. He's not completely alive. Black jumps and I push. Black makes a shape. I realize there's a problem here, so I kicked to secure my connection. Black extends. That's a necessary move, right? Like if you just run like this, my corner is going to be very large. So yeah, the E3 is just a very big move. Then I enclose, and black decides to fight me because he can't get out anymore. This is enclosed, so he decides to cut. Good idea. And then cut my 3 stones off. Alright, so I need to run these 3 guys, right? Like I can't sacrifice them. And I attach here. And this is a very, very good shape. A shape move that just tightens Black's liberty. And yeah, so Black decides to Hane and White extends. Black jumps, and I decide to make my group safer. And I made an eye here. So if I play this one instead, Black's gonna peep, and this is very annoying for me. So instead of playing that one, I play the M6, which prevents any sort of peep. Alright, Black exchanged this one because if I just play elsewhere, Black will Hane here, and I might have some life and death problems. So very, very crucial that I keep my group safe. Black peeps, and White defends the cut. And now Black tries to cut me off. I obviously need to run. And after this exchange, I jumped. And then I protect the cutting point over here. So if I play somewhere else, there's obviously a cutting point, which is why I need to jump to prevent it. Alright, after a few moves, Black decides to fix the weakness here. Right? Like if he plays somewhere else, I have these annoying testing moves that is threatening to cut. So Black does not want that, so he decides to fix. I turn here because otherwise check this. Black has all this territory, right? So can't allow that. So turn was good. And after this exchange, I decide to make myself alive. Black pushes, and I just connect. Now, as we can see, White is 100% alive, right? There's an eye over here, and there's an eye over here. Black decides to jump here. That's a huge move in the corner. Alright, I decide to push and cut, and then make use of Black's weakness, right? Black decides to fix it, and then I Hane in. Black cannot play this one anymore because he will just be dead. So instead, Black Hane on the second line. That's a good move. I connect it. Black defends the weakness. And now I decide to completely destroy any potential Moyo with the Kosumi. So at this point, it is a winning game for me. So all what I needed is just to keep going at a very steady pace and no problem, right? As long as my groups don't die, the benefits I got from my trick is just enough for me to win the game. So I did pretty well, and now here's my problem, and this is my weakness, right? Like I try to overplay when I'm winning a lot of the times, and that's just not necessary. Here, I should have totally just connected myself. Not only I gain points here, but also I have I can peep in. So Black needs to immediately make himself alive, and guess what? It's my Sente, right? Like I can play whatever I want now, pretty much. I can just jump in, and there's nothing here. That's just a total winning 99% win rate game. Instead, I decide to go for the aggression, that is to try to kill Black. Black defends, and I push and connect. And Black plays this one. I'm like, wow. Really, I should have just played this one. So simple, so easy to win. And check, I really just had to make a mess out of it. So not necessary. This is a big mistake. And now Black wedges. Now Black should have actually just tried to kill my group here. So if both sides play accurately, this is going to be a Seki or both sides gonna live, right? So white will connect here. There's a weakness at d2, so black needs to take, and white plays out this one, and black is gonna take, and I'm making myself alive. And check how many points I have lost, like by sacrificing these two, and by losing a few stones here, right? At least a Komi gone for me. And this is still a winning game for me, right? It just shows you how big of a lead that I have previously. Instead, I did not. Yeah, instead I decided to just go for not necessary complications. And black's wedge is a horrible move because we'll see, it doesn't accomplish anything, right? So black gets rid of my eye, which is necessary. I connect it, and black takes. And now black had a winning chance, that is to push here. I wouldn't say winning chance, but I mean this gets really complicated really fast. So he still needs to fix the d2, so he takes. And now it's not so clear how I will continue here. This is just I think my best play was to just push, and what does black? Well, black will squeeze here, and I'm in big trouble if I keep playing like this. So this is actually a very serious problem for me now, because I don't know where to play. If this one, that's obviously not gonna work at all. And if I take, he can just play out this one, and I might die because black has a bigger eye than I have. So at this point, black probably is gonna win with this move. That's how serious my mistakes is, right? So very unnecessary fight I got myself into for no reason. But that's not what happened in the game. So black gave me a chance by not reading properly. And I finally got the f6 move. That's such an important move. That squeezed black's liberty. And now game's still 90-something% for me because black missed the opportunity to push at e4. So now he pushes at e4. Here we need to be very careful, right? Like if we just simply connect, black has this really annoying Atari, which pretty much gonna kill our 5 stones. So we need to be very careful about it. So instead of connecting, I need to take here first. So this could look a little bit complicated, but it really isn't. Because black cannot go in and Atari me because I can just capture. Black does not have this way either because it's a tiger's mouth. But if black push, we can just connect. And then that would be just similar to the actual game. So instead, black connected. And I connected. And now this is a liberty fight between the two groups. Black pushes, and I squeeze the liberty. Black connects. I Atari, and black connects once again. And I Atari on top. So now if black connects, white can connect here. And let's just play this one out. I can get this, and I throw in, and he comes in, and I throw in, and yeah. So now as we can see, black is all dead. So that's not going to work out. So at this point, it's game over, right? So at this point, what does black do, right? Black connects. That's, whoops, why did that happen? Right, so we set at here. I connected basically, and black connected. I Atari'd, and black connects, right? If black takes, that doesn't really help because I can just squeeze the liberty. and it's very hard for black to rely on this Ko, because if he connects, very difficult for black to fight this Ko, right? So if he ever connects, I can connect and then we can kill him. So at this point, it's pretty much game over. And black decided to connect, and this is what happened. I Atari on top, and black squeezed my liberty, and then I take this Ko and black resign. If black wants to continue, he needs to fight this Ko. He cannot even connect now because I can capture the entire group. So he needs Ko threats, right? Like, so he might have a Ko threat over here, but I mean white has a lot of Ko threats too. White can just extend the liberties, and that's an okay threat. So, and also remember the H2 throw in is also a Ko threat. So black cannot fight this Ko. So black is dead. The entire dragon is killed. So I got the corner and I got the dragon. And here black does not have much, so that's just game over. Good time for my opponent to resign. Overall, this game, I think my performance was just average. The beginning was okay, except the inaccuracy. Well, let's just go back to the beginning, right? So quickly review what happened. So my invasion early in the game was it was a good move, but it was not a good idea, globally speaking. So after, but at this point, black made a big mistake, right? That's Kosumi, and I extended big corner for me, and then play out some moves. All these are fine, and then black falls for this trick, and instead of making a Seki, black made this C17 mistake that just killed him. And this is pretty much game over at this point because black is dead. There's no compensation or whatever. Black decides to get compensation from making a group. And after some skirmish, I decided to keep pressuring black's group. And I think I played quite accurately from this point on. Not much. I did not underperform. It's just how I should have played, and that's just my level. And yeah, so at this point, white just need to live everything, and then this is a lot of profits. So black tried hard to attack, but my group was way too flexible to be attacked. And after very good a good combination for me, because now I make myself clean alive, have no more concerns for the dragon in the center. So at this point, that's just a winning game for me, right? So very nice squeeze by white. Got everything in Sente. Later on, this M2 is even a Sente. Very well played. And also the E4 connection Sente, right? So a lot of Sente that I got in Sente. So, and at the end, this is unnecessary. Like, this is a big mistake by white. White could have just win in a very safe, very simple fashion. But no, I decided to have this weird sense of urgency for no reason when I'm leading. Yeah, especially at this point, last chance to just stay safe, letting black live in Gote, and then I can just do whatever I want. So nope, not what happened. I decided to try to kill everything. And obviously black did not read very well either. At this point, after missing the chance of pushing, black is pretty much lost, right? Like, this is the last fight, and then turns out black cannot fight at all because it's so hard to keep going with this Ko. So at this point Black resigned, and then and he's very right about it, right? It's a good time to resign because there's absolutely no way to save the dragon. So overall, I killed the dragon, which I should not have, and definitely learned quite a bit of things from this game, from analyzing this game. So I hope you like the game, and very interesting. I mean, it's the first time I actually do do a review of my own game in Go Clinic. And as all of you can see, I make mistakes, and yeah, I need to learn as well. So I hope you liked the video. Don't forget to subscribe for more reviews like this. And once again, if you want your own game to be reviewed, you can comment below the video, right? You can just tell me, hey, I have a game, and I'll probably reach out to you and find your OGS account or some way to communicate. And if I really like one of your games, I will definitely go ahead and broadcast the game in this Go Clinic. So why not try it out and see how it goes. Yeah, thank you very much for watching, and I will talk to you guys next time.